This is a tutorial of how to use the MIFA client interactions for the Emergency Shelter Placement Program. When someone comes in to see you and you want to enter their information into CoactionNet, one of the first things we want to do is search to see if that client is already in the system. So on the top left-hand side under Search Records, we're going to choose Client Profile. And we can search on a whole bunch of things, but we usually want to search on the name. So we're going to choose the name search field, and you'll see that name for client profile popped up. And let's just say that that client's name is Sally. And you'll notice when I type in Sally, all of the people whose names start with Sally pop up. And if I wanted to further say Sally client, I could put in a CL, and that will make Sally client show up. Now, I always recommend that people search on partial names because someone's name could be very similar. It could be spelled differently. Sally is sometimes spelled with an IE or a Y. And you'll see that some of these names look very familiar or very similar. So if someone, and here's a perfect example, we have Sandriga Denise Clark entered twice. We can tell it's the same person even though it's spelled differently. They have the same birthday. So this is an example of someone who has not searched correctly. And those are little things that happen. I suggest that if you're not sure about the spelling of a name, that you can also pull down the date of birth search field, and you can put in a specific date of birth. And in this case, I'm going to put in 2/16/1980, and what that's going to do is show me that I do have two people that are probably the same person even though they're spelled differently. There's an example. So, but let's just pretend like we did not see the person that we want to enter. If we had seen the person, we would just click on their name, but we did not see them, so we're going to enter a new client profile. That, of course, is not supposed to happen, and if you'll let my computer refresh for a minute, the internet should come right back without any trouble. There we go. So at this point, we would enter the name of the person by clicking in the field, and give my computer just a second to reset because, okay, there we go. So I can enter in Sally client. At this point, if I entered the same birthday as the previous Sally client, I would get a duplicate client warning. But I don't remember what that birthday was, so I'm going to enter a birthday. We have to enter a gender, and we have to enter a primary race. If we don't, we will continue to see X's over here, and if we tried to save the record, it would tell us that we had missed a required field, just like that. So it tells us that primary race is required, and we'll fill that in. Anything with an asterisk is a required field. We can now save this record, and we want to do what's called View the Folder. We have a number of options at View the Folder. One of our first things is these are all the additional forms that we can enter about Sally. The first one being the characteristics, and we can create a new characteristics and intake form just by clicking on New over on the right hand side, and we're going to choose MIFA as the group that's entering the form, and that's because we get a couple of extra questions here. You will just simply answer these questions, and they should match the intake, the homeless intake. Fine. You will have a monthly income noted on the homeless intake, which you can total here. If you want to put in specific information about specific types of income, I suggest that you hit the new button right here, and that new button is to enter more information about the client's budget. Anytime you see that, what you're actually doing is opening a new form in the background, and here's where we can put in the client's earnings. So we're going to put in $450, and this is supposed to be, notice it's monthly income, and that's take-home pay. So we have a place for food stamps, and that's just, we could put that in. And anything else, let's just say that there's court-ordered child support of $345. And what you will notice is that it has totaled the income at the bottom. There is also a place for expenses, but I know you're not going to use that. When you're finished, just store the linked record, and when we save this form, this link will be added. And let me just save and show you what that looks like. So I can save my record, and now I'm going to choose continue to stay on the same page. And now we have a link to that record for that budget. We can say, yes, there is a disability, and if we want to say what kind of disability, we can do that there. Have you been a victim of domestic violence? Yes. Here's a very important question for the ESP. Do you need housing and shelter assistance? Yes. And you'll notice that we get a new section. If you click, you need to click if they have a criminal history, and yes, I need to correct my spelling right there. If I do click yes, there's an extra section that pops up at the bottom that we can fill out, but we're just going to click yes so I can show it to you. Where did you sleep last night? These are the HUD recognized places, and then we fill out the form just like we have it, and we'll put in how long have you been continuously on the street, or in an emergency shelter. We're going to say 6 weeks. How many times have you been evicted? Twice. Yes, losing my utilities has led to my homelessness, and I owe $560. How many times have you been on the street in the last 5 years? 5 times. No one has helped me with my housing assistance. Here are